The city of Biddeford prides itself on reinventing its historic past. These mills, once the fabric of the city, have been re-energized with modern-day businesses, while the return of its La Kermesse Festival is keeping its Franco-American heritage alive and well. And another part of its history has returned as well. After briefly shutting its doors, the Palace Diner, said to be the oldest diner in the state of Maine, reopened its doors just this past week.
It's an old Pollard diner car, was built in 1927, and it's been in Biddeford since around that time.
The moment you walk through the door, it ties you to the history of the place.
Greg Mitchell and his business partner, Chad Conley, decided to take over the reins of the diner last fall and knew it was important to keep many of its characteristics from the day it first opened its doors.
The linoleum on the bar here is worn at the place where people's elbows are. And that to me is so beautiful.
All right. Flapjacks.
Thank you.
I think it's so cool. I've never seen anything like this. It actually reminds me of like some movies that I've seen.
2 eggs over easy fry.
Greg and Chad, who both have backgrounds working in restaurants, were actually in the market to find a restaurant to buy in Portland. But once they saw this diner, they knew it was special. Not only as a main diner, but to the generations who have come here.
Can I get you any more coffee?
Having been in this location for this long, we've met so many folks in town, multiple generations of people who have just a ritual of coming here. And to inherit that is a huge burden, but also, so great for us.
And while they have managed to welcome back those customers, they're also looking to bridge together a newer generation who are now just discovering this place.
It's great. My husband and I, it was one of the first breakfast places we found, and then they closed, and we were devastated. And so we're really excited that they're open now.
Greg and Chad say they only had to make a few minor adjustments to the diner, but it was really a turnkey operation, allowing them to serve up delicious traditional diner food.
The kitchen got put on in the 1980s, and that's allowed us to do our style of home cooking, cooking a lot of things from scratch, and allowed us to kind of expand the menu.
Brian Fairfield had been coming here for years, and now he's back at the counter enjoying his breakfast. He says this diner is a perfect fit for the city's revitalization.
Maybe that'll be the thing that pushes everybody to get this place really a nice big facelift, because a lot of people in town have been putting a lot of energy into making this town a really great town.
From its decor to its traditional diner food, and even the music from yesteryear constantly playing in the background, the Palace Diner in Biddeford is back open for business.
We've really strived to keep prices accessible to everybody, keep the food delicious, keep the portions, a good size and fun, and we just want people to come in, enjoy the music, have a nice hot cup of coffee, and leave with a smile on their face.
In Biddeford, Norm Carcos, WMTW News 8.
So he's going to make it. He's going to be healthy.
This little guy has had a rough couple of days. 2 days ago, Jared Buzzell says he was driving with a friend when they saw a car hit a porcupine in Minot. Jared's uncle had told him about a valuable mineral porcupines make called a bezoar stone. It's used in Chinese medicine. Jared says when he realized the porcupine was dead, he cut it open to search for the stone. Instead, he found something even more surprising.
Cut the sack open and out fell the porcupine. I cut the umbilical cord, put it in the hat. We thought it was dead. I started massaging it, so it was all kinds of stuff started coming out of its lungs, so it started breathing.
And that brings us here in Jared's apartment in Lisbon, hand-feeding a baby porcupine every 2 to 3 hours with his daughter's baby doll bottle.
And he said, baby formula.
Did you guys already have that laying around the house?
No, I had to go buy some.
Once the little guy gets a bit stronger, the family is handing him off to a licensed wildlife rehabilitator, even if that's kind of a sore subject.
It's adorable, so.
And your wife wants to keep it?
Yeah, not happening.
This hatch is the emergency exit hatch.
Off the beaten path in central Maine, down a remote trail, a local dealership of sorts, but Frank Woodworth isn't selling cars.
The whole theory behind it is we figure it's better to be a year or two early than a few hours late.
These are his standard model underground bunkers, his customers often prepping for a doomsday scenario. The bunkers look like giant oil tanks. They're even labeled stormwater control structure as a decoy.
You know, everyone that I sell to is convinced that things aren't going to continue the way that they are, and that some sort of problem, either economic disaster or natural disaster, is going to cause people to have to go into one of these.
And he keeps the identity of his customers close to the vest.
You know, you wouldn't tell me where your favorite hunting spot or fishing spot is, and in the event of a natural disaster or an economic collapse, the person that's prepared is going to be the one that is all of a sudden very popular. The thing that we're looking at now is soundproofing the inside.
He wouldn't say how many of these bunkers he's sold in the 4 years he's been building them, but says fewer than 10 to people who live mostly in Maine and New Hampshire. But we wondered who's buying them.
The people are everyone. Doctors, you know, pilots, thinking about older clientele that we've had in the past.
We climbed through the entrance hatch and down a metal ladder. Even hardwood floors?
No, actually there's cedar.
Oh, okay.
We use cedar because it doesn't rot. We feel that the first thing you need is a bed. The second thing you need is a toilet. We need to work out some kind of a septic system.
On his website, Northeast Bunkers, you can see what they look like fully furnished.
That kitchen and bathroom unit actually fits all right in this corner.
If you're wondering how much these things cost, the basic model, like the one we're standing in, $25,000, and they go up to $40,000 plus, fully loaded.
A family of 4 could spend 6 months in this?
Well, it would be tight. You know, it's not the Hilton, but, you know, if it comes to surviving, we feel that they're able to.
Down the road in Augusta, at the Maine Primitive Skills School, Michael Douglas is teaching people how to survive without a bunker.
We break it down. Attitude, shelter, water, fire, and food, in that order.
A class size of 12 will spend 5 days living off the land.
When you come out of an Earth Living 5-day, you know how to go out onto the landscape, in the beginning with a knife, but later on with stone tools, to procure shelter, water, fire, and food.
That pot I'm going to fire next.
There are 30 acres here. The students are people from all walks of life, some of them also worried about the end of the world.
I think the majority of folks are coming here with the idea that they don't want to be dependent upon a system that they might view for one reason or another is unsustainable or fragile or maybe even both.
It's at the heart of why we began manufacturing skis.
It's the wood growing virtually all around them, the same wood they use to build skis. And the very reason Nick Mukai and Ian Reinhold believe their Maine-made Lucid skis can stand up to any others in the world.
We believed strongly in the superior qualities of Maine lumber for ski manufacture, having looked at the history of using Maine wood for skis.
Maine has a really strong heritage and history of ski manufacturing, and for us it feels somewhat like a revival of that.
It's all happening inside this old Victorian barn which sits in the shadows of Maine's western mountains in Phillips. Over the past 5 years, these two talented woodworkers with a passion for the slopes have developed a line of skis which marries the historic look and character of wood with today's modern ski components, including fiberglass and high-carbon steel edges.
We're using some of the same conventional materials for ski manufacture, but we choose to showcase the Maine hardwood.
And by featuring that old-fashioned look, they say, it only helps to accentuate Lucid's attention to detail. Each ski is hand-cut, carved, pressed, and polished. The result, they tout, a prettier ski, a better performing ski.
Well, it's not only aesthetic, it's actually extremely functional because it will make the ski wear better and run smoother down the hill.
The final result is a longer lasting, definitely very beautiful ski that you can be proud of.
Skis are in there for 24 hours.
This year, Mukai and Reinhold will produce about 75 pairs of skis, with realistic hopes to triple that over the next 3 years. And the more work for them, they boast, the more work for other locals, since all of the wood they use is actually harvested within 50 miles of their workshop.
So we're supporting local sawyers, woodcutters, and utilizing resources that are readily available to us right outside our back door.
The guys at Lucid liken their skis to a fine piece of handmade furniture and believe there's a niche of ski enthusiasts who appreciate this classic look. A look back into history, when the most popular skis were first made in Maine.
There you go.
So it's really important to us. We really want to try to put Maine back on the map as a manufacturer of fine skis.